Hey there, amazing viewers! Are you ready for a blast? Today, we've got something explosive, a full breakdown of Donald Trump's latest antics. Yes, the one and only Trump, who never holds back, speaks his mind, and puts on a show you can't look away from. In this video, you'll discover dirty jokes and expressions that shock but make you laugh. How Trump crafts his speeches to captivate every listener. Why his support remains rock solid despite all the controversies. Don't switch off. We're going to show you how Trump manages to be both a politician and a showman. His speeches are not just words, they're performances. Intrigued? Then hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get ready for some sharp commentary and fiery moments. Your comments are always welcome, so share your thoughts below. Don't miss this show. Let's dive in. The most important event of the week was Donald Trump's speech in Nevada, which, as always, was delivered with great flair and a barrage of dirty expressions. First of all, it's worth noting that the former president was shouting at everyone and everything, not forgetting to mention that we will defeat the Biden crime family. Well, as usual, it's all classic Trump, blaming Biden for all the sins of humanity. Moving on to immigration. Under Biden's administration, according to Trump, the border is in a complete apocalypse. Honestly, listening to this, you start to think that their country is no longer a nation, but a branch of hell on earth. Immediately reminds of long-standing issues like the eternal mess at the border. The House Judiciary Committee's report spilled the beans. Over 6 million illegal alien encounters since Biden took office, with more than 3 million still hanging around the US like they're on vacation. Criminals roaming free, asylum processes dragging slower than a snail on a treadmill, and the administration barely managing to deport anyone. Basically, it's a clusterfuck of epic proportions, highlighting just how deep the border crisis goes. Full report here. Ashley judishme.how/media/press releases new report that unveils non-public detailing severity Biden border crisis. Next, about the economy. Trump waves his hands and shouts that Biden signs orders that support invasion, human trafficking, and drug dealers. Seriously, if someone else had said this, they would have been sent for a psychiatric evaluation. But this is Trump. He can say anything. Now, let's bring in a scary forecast for this scenario. Just imagine, that Biden's so-called open door policies lead to an economic apocalypse. Picture this. The streets are overflowing with unregulated markets where human traffickers and drug dealers set up shop right next to your favorite coffee place. Kids start trading homework for contraband, and your Uber driver moonlights as a cartel henchman. Jobs? Forget it. The economy tanks so hard that even selling lemonade becomes a high-risk venture. Your grandma starts hoarding canned beans and ammo, while the local PTA meetings turn into underground survivalist gatherings. Banks collapse, not under the weight of financial mismanagement, but because their vaults are filled with illegal earnings from trafficking and drugs. Inflation skyrockets, making toilet paper more valuable than gold. The American dream? More like the American nightmare. People start bartering personal belongings on social media platforms just to get by. Your neighbor offers his vintage vinyl collection in exchange for a bag of rice and a gallon of gas. In short, it's a dystopian hellscape where every worst-case scenario comes true, all because Biden allegedly opened the floodgates. But hey, this is Trump we're talking about. The man knows how to paint a picture, even if it looks like something out of a horror movie. Personal attitude towards Biden? He's not just old, he's incompetent. Seriously, Donald, it's impossible to hear the same thing 100 times a day. Biden is blamed for everything, including Trump's coffee cooling down too quickly. First off, who could forget the time when Biden, trying to compliment Maryland's black Democratic governor, Wes Moore, ended up sounding like a relic from the segregation era by calling him boy while admiring his muscles. Awkward much? 68 ass source. Then there was the incident with Medal of Honor recipient Larry Taylor. Biden pinned the medal on him and then inexplicably walked off, leaving the poor guy standing there alone, bewildered as the ceremony continued. Maybe it was nap time? And let's not overlook when he confused Egypt with Mexico while discussing the Israel-Hamas conflict. Mixing up countries is a classic move, right? Especially when you're the president's 69 source. In another memorable moment, Biden tripped over a sandbag at the U.S. Air Force Academy's graduation ceremony. Falling on stage is never a good look, but at least he kept walking. It's almost like slapstick comedy at this point in source. One of the more bizarre blunders was when he closed a speech on gun control with "God Save the Queen." Considering Queen Elizabeth II had passed away the previous year, and Queen Camilla was definitely not in attendance, it left everyone scratching their heads, 69 source. Biden's verbal slip-ups include calling Hamas the place instead of identifying it as a terror group. It's moments like these that make you wonder if he's reading from a script or just improvising source. In a heartfelt yet misplaced attempt to relate, Biden compared the tragic Hawaiian wildfires to a small kitchen fire in his home from years ago. Not exactly the same scale of disaster, Jors. And the cherry on top, Biden's infamous stumble while boarding Air Force One in Helsinki. Even with a "watch your step" sign, he still managed to trip. If nothing else, it shows he's consistent 69 source. In short, Biden's gaffes provide endless material for those who like to point and laugh. Whether he's mixing up world leaders, falling on stage, or making puzzling remarks, it seems like there's always a new episode in the Biden blooper reel. The media, that's a whole separate song. According to Trump, they all lie and blatantly misinform the public. Yes, Donald, everyone lies except you. Remember Biden's end-of-the-world rant? Recall Biden's apocalyptic vision of global warming, where he dramatically claimed that if the planet's temperature rises by 1.5 degrees Celsius, we're done. It was like watching a Hollywood disaster flick, but without the popcorn. Enter the voice of reason. Scientists, while certainly concerned about climate change, don't share Biden's doomsday scenario. Stanford's Rob Jackson and other experts pointed out that every fraction of a degree matters, but it's not an all-or-nothing situation if we miss the 1.5 C mark. Jackson basically said, "Calm down, Joe. It's not the end of the world just yet." Biden's hyperbole? Absolutely unhelpful and misleading. It's like he's trying to sell climate catastrophe as the next big blockbuster. Instead of constructive dialogue, we get sensationalism. Scientists chimed in with a more measured approach. Michael Mann noted that even if we pass 1.5 C, it's not game over. There are still actions we can take to mitigate further damage. Biden, though, seemed more interested in his dramatic declaration, turning scientific concerns into a theatrical prophecy of 78 source. So, next time Biden warns about the planet's demise, remember, it's more about stirring the pot than presenting a balanced view of climate science. Just another day in the life of political storytelling. About electric cars, we will stop the electric vehicle mandate. Because why do we need environmentally friendly transport when we can drive diesel monsters and pollute the whole neighborhood? Biden and electric cars. Apparently, they're not on the best of terms. Trump thundered, "We will stop the electric vehicle mandate." Why? Because who needs environmentally friendly transport when we can drive diesel monsters and pollute the whole neighborhood? Imagine this. Instead of sleek, silent Teslas gliding through your street, you've got roaring diesel trucks spewing black smoke like they're auditioning for a role in a 1980s action movie. The air quality? Think of it as a free sample of Beijing on a bad day. Comparing an electric car to a diesel behemoth is like comparing a smooth jazz concert to a heavy metal festival. One is smooth and relaxing, the other is loud, disruptive, and leaves your ears ringing. And let's not forget the sheer irony. While the world pushes for green solutions, here we are, debating if we should go back to the vehicular equivalent of burning coal in our living rooms. Biden's take? Electric cars are our future, but Trump's vision seems stuck in the past, yearning for the good old days when gas guzzlers were king. So buckle up for a ride through nostalgia, because apparently, saving the planet can wait. Radical security measures? Trump's favorite pastime is building walls and blocking roads. He loves to talk about bringing back the old ways and closing the border, as if he's the star of some retro action movie. But if Trump loves building walls, then Biden must adore opening floodgates. Under Biden's administration, border security has turned into a comedy of errors. Picture this. Instead of walls, you get revolving doors. Every time you think the border is secure, another wave of migrants just strolls in, like it's a Sunday afternoon at the park. Biden's policies? It's like he handed out VIP passes to anyone wanting to cross. The border has more holes than Swiss cheese. His administration's approach to immigration is akin to using a sieve to carry water. Ambitious, but utterly ineffective. Imagine Biden at a theme park. Instead of enforcing height requirements for rides, he's giving free tickets to everyone, no questions asked. Security? Who needs it when you can have chaos? So, while Trump dreams of fortresses, Biden's got a knack for turning secure borders into the world's biggest open house. It's not just a policy difference. It's a sitcom where border security is the punchline. Dirty expressions? Trump is not shy at all. He said he doesn't pay contractors that do a shitty job, and then added that he's working his ass off. Trump is not shy at all. He said he doesn't pay contractors that do a shitty job, and then added that he's working his ass off. Is this how people talk in polite society? Maybe not. But Trump has never been one to mince words or hide behind niceties. Adding to the mix, he often boasts about how he's sweating like a dog and working his swampy ass off during rallies. Picture this, a man, drenched in sweat, passionately addressing his supporters with raw honesty. This isn't just a presidential speech, it's a genuine connection with the crowd. And let's not forget his straightforward nature. He called someone a dumb son of a bitch and remarked how a person was doing a shitty job. Trump's speeches are filled with candid expressions that resonate with many who appreciate his unfiltered approach. It's as if he's saying what everyone else is thinking, but too afraid to voice. Imagine Trump at a family dinner. Instead of glossing over issues with political jargon, he's the uncle who tells it like it is. No sugarcoating. Polite society? More like a breath of fresh air in a world of scripted speeches and rehearsed lines. So while Trump's language might not be fit for a fancy dinner party, it sure makes his speeches memorable. He's the president who speaks his mind, proudly and without hesitation, leaving no room for doubt about where he stands. Conclusion. Everything that was said is classic Trump, loud, bold, with lots of accusations and promises. But the most important thing is that his supporters are still with him because they love the show, and Trump is a real showman. And remember, folks, whether you love him or hate him, Trump never fails to keep things interesting. His speeches are less about political correctness and more about raw, unfiltered honesty. So, if you're tuning in for the spectacle, you won't be disappointed. That's all for today, my dear YouTube audience. If you enjoyed this dive into Trump's latest speech, hit that like button, subscribe for more unapologetic commentary, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning, keep discussing, and never stop thinking critically. Stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, stay entertained. Peace out.